Hello, welcome everyone to Narayana Result Success Meet JEE Advanced 2022. Today we all have gathered here to celebrate the grand success of Narayana in the recently concluded JEE Advanced 2022 exam. And with us, we have the achievers and toppers of Narayana all over India. So firstly, I would like to congratulate each and every student who have gathered here. And I would like to congratulate on their splendid performance and the efforts and hard work they have put in the last 2 years. So let us start with the introduction.
Hello everybody, my name is A. Akshat Reddy. I am studying in Narayana from 8th class and I am from LB Nagar branch, Hyderabad.
I'm Mujas Maheshwari and I'm from the Narayana Mumbai branch and I was in the 2-year classroom program.
Hello everyone, I'm Aryan Vashisht and I have been studying in Narayana Mumbai branch since class 11.
Hi everyone, my name is Nandan Manjunath Immadisetti. I have been studying in Narayana from 8th class, Hyderabad.
Hello everyone, my name is Vetsa Gyanmesh. I am studying in Narayana Visakhapatnam from my 7th class.
Hi everyone, my name is Dheeraj Kurukunda and I have been a Narayana student since 8th class.
My name is V. Sai Siddhartha. I have been studying in Narayana Group of Institutions from 4th class.
So Akshat, how was the JEE Advanced exam?
So this year JEE Advanced 2022 paper was on the difficult side. So this time maths was a bit more tricky and the paper 1 maths was lengthy and paper 2 maths was tough. About chemistry, paper 1 chemistry has more calculative part and paper 2 chemistry was on a bit easy side. And coming to physics, both paper 1 paper 2 are almost on moderate to tougher side. So the overall paper was in between moderate and tough.
Akshat, what did you expect from your performance? How did it go?
I think it went well and maybe I can perform better.
Okay, so which subject was tougher for you?
For me, mathematics was tough.
Okay, only because it was lengthy or because it was tricky?
Especially paper 2 mathematics was more tricky. Paper 1 was lengthy, but it is doable, but paper 2 was difficult.
So how did you manage your time? Were you stuck in math for long or you realized and shifted to physics, chemistry? So what was your mindset?
So I just observed the mathematics paper and the multi-correct questions were more on like lengthy side and tougher side. So I just left those multi questions and I went to physics section and I solved almost all the physics questions and I spent more time in chemistry in multi-correct. So I left some of the questions in mathematics.
So during your preparation, which subject was tougher for you? And was it a surprise when you saw the subjects difficulty order like math, physics and chemistry? So how did you handle yourself?
So mathematics was a problem for me from 11th class. But as per the paper, so physics and chemistry were on my side. So I solved physics and chemistry and mathematics, some of the questions which were easy and moderate, I have solved them and left all the tough questions in mathematics.
Okay. So when you prepared mentally that math is your weak subject, if it is tougher, what would be my strategy during the examination? Did you thought about that before entering the examination hall?
So what I have decided is that I will go through physics and chemistry. If mathematics was on easy side, then I will solve mathematics completely.
Okay.
But if it was on difficult side, then I will leave the difficult questions in mathematics and go with physics and chemistry.
Yeah, that's a good strategy. Okay.
So looking at Akshat's reaction, we would come to know that JEE Advanced exam is really difficult and would require a rigorous training and preparation for such an exam. I would like to know from all of you how long you people prepared for JEE Advanced exam and since when you started. Siddharth?
I started my advanced preparation vigorously from 8th class in CO program. The CO program of Narayana Group completes the whole inter-syllabus first year and second year over a span of 3 years. And it is very helpful for children to know all the basics in the 8th, 9th, 10th, which are easily understandable at that time, so that they can easily adapt to the upcoming challenges in first year and second year. I think starting early is very important for achieving a good rank in IIT JEE Advanced.
A serious student for JEE should start his or her preparation.
As far as stacking is concerned, 8th class is a good time to start the preparation.
Okay.
I believe that it shouldn't go in full force from the start of 8th class.
Okay.
It should end with the basics itself. Basics
Right.
of each topic, at least the basics which we learned should be present with us till the end of 12th class. It
Okay.
shouldn't go like you learn a topic and then you forget it when you go to the next topic.
All right.
So instead of kind of completing the complete JEE syllabus by 10th class, it is better if we complete all the topics till the basic level by 10th and then build on that basics in 11th and 12th.
Okay. So I remember you were in Narayana system from 8th class. So how did it go? The way you expected? And how did it help you to really do well in JEE Advanced? And I gathered that you cracked Olympiads also, right? So which Olympiads did you crack?
And there were two branches, Asian
Right.
Physics Olympiad and International Physics Olympiad.
Okay.
I got bronze in Asian and silver in International.
Oh, congratulations. And yeah, coming back to the foundation part. So you were a student from 8th class. So how did it go?
From 8th class, yeah, it went pretty well for some topics. But what I would suggest to my juniors is that when I was doing the topics in 8th class, I did not have the maturity to revise the topics which were completed.
Okay.
And that reflected in my scores or in my confidence levels, I should say, when I went to 9th and 10th class.
Okay.
They started hitting the lower sides.
Okay.
Because when you go to further topics, they are linked with the before ones. So I suggest that not only completing newer topics or learning something new, we should also revise the previous one.
So how about the Olympiad preparation helping the JEE preparation? So how to handle both, how to balance both, how to complement or supplement?
One thing I will suggest for maths is preparing for PRMO and RMO. Help your intellectual skills. You will get newer ideas when it comes to JEE Advanced Mathematics also. Like both are a bit different, but your ideological skills will be greatly improved. I'll suggest that Olympiads and JEE is not very much different when it comes to physics and chemistry. So if we'll focus exactly on the JEE Advanced syllabus of physics and chemistry, then Olympiad is not a different track. You just need to see and spend some time with the previous Olympiad papers. Like just the way of asking question is different. So if you learn to manage the time, then it shouldn't be a tougher nut to crack.
What you're saying is Math Olympiad preparation, a student should focus during the school, if they are starting preparation early on, and then go on with the physics and chemistry Olympiad preparation along with JEE when they're in 11th and 12th, is what you say. Siddesh, sir.
Definitely, I would agree to that because the general perception about mathematics is a difficult subject. And the recently concluded JEE Advanced exam also had a paper which was lengthy as such. So unless and until you have a very strong foundation in mathematics, it will be very difficult for a student to complete the paper within the given span of time.
Okay.
So it is really advisable to, completely focus on mathematics till class 10th. You don't have to worry much about physics, chemistry till class 10th. Let's focus completely on maths. Give it a priority. And then when the class 11, 12 starts, you can start prioritizing physics, chemistry also. But as you know, that JEE Advanced is basically about all three subjects. So one needs to balance all the three
Right.
subjects. So to that part, I would like to ask some of you, there would be some of the subjects which will be your weak subject. It can't happen that all three subjects will be your strong subjects, right? Mahesh, what do you think? What was your weak subject and how you prepared for that?
Initially, my weak subject was like chemistry because I used to forget the things. So I gave a bit more time to chemistry so that I can remember those things in the end. It's like just before the exam, our focus should be more on chemistry. Practicing should be more.
Especially talking about chemistry, I find that the good students, those who are good in mathematics and physics, they find chemistry, especially the inorganic part of the chemistry, a dry area. So how do you manage that?
Really, I feel like inorganic was a dry area. So I used to revise inorganic before the exam. Like some few days before the exam, I used to give more time to chemistry and revise those inorganic parts.
So Mahesh, you were the CO school student. That means you started your preparation early on. So did you notice that your subject, chemistry is the weak subject for you then, and then did you do anything about it from your school preparation?
Not from school, but in 11th and 12th, I noticed that my weak part was like chemistry.
So which part of the chemistry is weak and how did you manage that?
Mostly inorganic part was weak, and I followed this way.
So is this a general trend that most of you will feel inorganic is bit dry and then difficult to crack? Siddharth?
Everything has some reason. Even if that reason is absurd, if you know the reason, you will remember the thing. I think it's better to know the reasons in inorganic chemistry so that you don't feel it's so dry. And the inorganic part is actually very dry if you don't know all the reasons. If you know the reasons, it is very easy to remember.
So for you, inorganic chemistry was a challenge or?
For a lot, I made short notes to the very end. And during the last 1 month, I made short notes of the whole inorganic chemistry. And I revised it every day. I was trying to reduce the period of time of revising the short notes. Like if starting, if it takes 2 hours for me to remember all the points in my short notes, by the end of the time, it took me half an hour to revise the whole inorganic. I'd suggest to make short notes and keep on revising things so that you don't forget.
So, Ojas, what should be the daily plan? Definitely every student will have strong and weak subjects, right? They have to attend the classes, prepare for the weekend examination. So, on a daily basis, you should work on your weak subject. At the same time, you need to sharpen your skills in the strong subject as well. So, what was your plan during the preparation phase?
For me, I think it is important to balance all the three subjects, irrespective of which is your weak subject and which is your strong subject. Because like if you focus more on your weak subjects, it may so happen that your strong subject may become your weak subject.
Correct.
So like it's important to have a daily plan. So like if my inorganic chemistry is weak, I need to study I need to give a particular time to it daily. Like I need to stick to that schedule. Right. It's important. So like if I have to give 2 hours to inorganic chemistry, then I'll because it's my weak subject, right? So I'll give it 2 hours. I'll give it daily. So I'll be able to sharpen it up. Right. If mathematics is my strong subject, then I'll make sure to revise all the formulas or particularly the weak topics in mathematics, because the whole subject cannot be strong. There are some weak topics also in a strong subject. So it's important to revise those topics.
Okay, so you're talking about revision a lot, right? So what were your note making or note taking, strategies? Did you follow any strategies as such specifically?
Yeah, so like for all the subjects, I developed this habit of making short notes. So like I used to see that inorganic chemistry, like the chapters are very long. So it's not possible to revise like the whole chapter because there are too many reactions and too many exceptions. So like I made the short notes. So like when I was revising, there are some things which like that stuck to your mind. You won't forget them. True. But there are some things which you realize they're going to forget them in a week time or sometime later. So it's important to note them down in a book. I'm not talking only about inorganic chemistry. I'm talking about other subjects also. Like you may forget some physics formulas or some maths formulas. It's important to note the formulas and keep revising them. I noted them in a short notebook, and yeah, it was really helpful for me. So I was able to revise like the most of the syllabus in a very short span of time.
Speaking about the weaknesses, I remember there was one time when you performed miserably in chemistry and you literally cried. And this is a situation I think everyone preparing for JEE for 2 years face at certain point of time. So what would be your advice to the students who are at that point of time?
Yeah, so like, yeah, there was a time when my organic chemistry was very weak, especially. So like, I did not lose hope at that time because I had teachers who kept on motivating me. That was a very plus point for me. So like, it does not matter what you perform in the test because, I mean, if you score less, it's okay because that means you have more scope of improvement. You'll be able to catch up with other students better because you have more scope of improvement. You should never lose hope and never lose confidence because like there's always chance for improvement.
Then I remember you rise from the ashes and you came, I think, Maharashtra topper in the INCH exam, right? Somewhere in that. Yeah, you did really well in that. So it's an example in front of everyone.
So which Olympiads you cracked, Ojish?
So like I in IOQC the part one of chemistry Olympiad, I was in the national top 10, and I cleared stage two of physics Olympiad. So I was in the national top 30 or something, and yeah, I cleared stage one of astronomy Olympiad also.
See, most of the students, they worry about the board exams, and there is a train of exams, I should say, JEE Main and then BITSAT. You have to prepare JEE Advanced. So, how do you balance the time or your mindset, or somebody who is just talking about board exam preparation?
I would like them not to worry about boards, because actually I used to worry about boards, but you just need 2 or 3 weeks for preparation of boards. Like, it's only about English and computer science, or your fifth subject, whatever it is.
Right.
Because if you are preparing for JEE, I think you must already be well versed with physics, chemistry, and maths. So boards, I would just ask them not to worry.
Because presenting the answers, because objective exam, JEE is an objective exam, and you're preparing for so long, and maybe you might be out of the habit to write the answers elaboratively, isn't it? So maybe that causes the worry for most of the students, and they spend more time unnecessarily for boards than required, maybe.
They should spend unnecessary time for boards.
Right.
According to me, 2 weeks is enough.
Okay.
The main problem is, I suppose, English and that fifth subject. Before 2 or 3 months before mains, I would like those students to master the NCRT, because mains is all about NCRT. So, and apart from that, I don't think some extra chapters in physics, which I suppose from next year they won't have the extra chapters. So, apart from that, I don't think mains preparation is much different from advanced preparation. They need to focus a lot on NCRT.
Other than mains, there are other parallel exams like BITSAT, SRM, VIT. What do you feel? Do you have to prepare them separately or just go along with the advanced preparation?
Honestly, I would say if you are preparing for JEE Advanced, then BITSAT should not be much of a problem for you. I suppose it's more like mains only, so it shouldn't be much of a problem.
Okay. So, Nandan, any special strategy you followed for JEE Main preparation, or is it required, or you just keep going with your JEE Advanced preparation, and then it will take care of all other exam preparations, as Arihant was mentioning?
No need of any special preparation.
Okay.
Whatever you have done for JEE Advance, so you can do the same for JEE Mains. But the only difference is like more number of questions and accuracy is more important. Like in JEE Advance, if you leave some questions also, you might get a better rank. But in JEE Mains, if you want to get the best rank, you have to have time management perfectly. You have to solve all 75 questions. So solving more papers will help you.
So, Arihant was mentioning about the NCRT textbooks and then the JEE Main preparation. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Especially for chemistry, NCRT is important line to line, because
Okay.
they can ask from any line many things. They can ask some value based questions also.
Right.
So reading NCRT twice or thrice line to line will help you. And physics, some topics you need NCRT preparation, that too only memory based questions.
Okay.
Remaining all, if you are preparing for JEE Advance, you can do it. And there's extra syllabus topics like which are for JEE Advance, which are for JEE Mains and not for JEE Advance. You have to keep some. You have to keep some. You have to prepare for those separately by reading NCRT.
So, is it the terminology that makes the NCRT revision important, or the phrases, or what exactly? When they say NCRT revision is must and essential for cracking JEE Main.
Like they ask questions exactly line to line. Like if there's a statement,
Right.
they'll give that question as a statement. They'll miss one little point, and they can ask it like a fill in the blank and give 4 options, or they can modify that statement. But overall, the question will be that statement only as it is. So if you read NCRT more number of times, it would be easy for you. Like it will immediately strike that okay, this point is there in the NCRT, and you can do that.
So even I think the same. So for mains preparation, basically the accuracy is everything. So you cannot afford to do silly mistakes in the public exam, because that can cost you a lot. So that's why reading NCERT is very important, because some of the questions are directly from NCERT and you can directly tick those questions and save your time. Even for physics also NCERT is important. Even you can go through all the chapters of physics, just you can read once, so it will be benefited. So it's all about your accuracy. And even in integer type questions, try to choose some simple calculation questions, because sometimes your time might get wasted a lot in some questions due to lengthy calculations.
Talking about JEE mains, there had been lots of instances where the questions were incorrect. Their data was, misleading or something like that, inconsistencies in the question. So, having known that, Arihant, what do you think? You prepared yourself for, facing such questions in the JEE main exam?
For such cases, I would suggest that as soon as you notice some discrepancy, I would like you to leave the question and come to it at the last, because if in between the exam you spend a lot of time thinking what assumption to make, then you might not get chance to do the other questions. So the best strategy would be to leave those questions, and when you finish all the questions, go back to that question, think what assumption can you make, just try to get an answer, because after all it's mains. Like he said, if you leave a question you might lose your ranks, so just think of some assumption. And I think you might encounter enough questions while doing the past year papers and practice papers to know what kind of assumption you have to make, so it will be fine. Just don't waste time in between.
So talking about the previous paper, so how far that will help in mains advanced? So how much time a student should spend in analyzing them, or they should just go with the flow?
For advance, I would say the previous year papers is the best thing,
Okay.
because they actually give you the idea of what actual questions JEE asks. I mean, like some practice papers which you might do, you might feel that they are very tough, so you might get discouraged. But when you actually solve those past year papers, you realize that JEE is not that actually tough. You understand what actually JEE wants to ask you,
Okay.
and after doing those papers, you might even understand properly how to study. For example, in inorganic chemistry, after you solve those past year papers, you might know where to stop, because like chemistry is a vast subject and you might want to go on and study, but it gives you an idea that this is where I should stop. I should only learn this much. So that helps a lot.
To add to his point, I would, as a teacher, I would, would like to say the student should solve the past year papers, because the best mock paper for IIT is not by any other institute than IIT itself. The past year paper of IIT itself is the best mock paper you can give. So what we actually did in Narayana was take the teachers into confidence, and we avoided those past 5 year questions in our practice papers, so that when the students are ready in the third phase, they will be writing the past year papers as if they are the new papers.
Yeah.
So the students were not actually, had done those questions before. So they were doing it as if they are new questions. So that is one way they can prepare.
See, actually, every year the paper pattern in JEE Advanced is different, and you don't know what to expect, isn't it? So, how did you prepare yourself for such a challenge in the paper?
See, the only thing which sets JEE Advanced apart from other exams is you don't know the pattern before the exam. So I'll say that it's just 60% about the subject and 40% about the time management. I'll suggest that we don't have to fix any plan before the exam. It is like you have to fix your plan in those 30 minutes before the exam. How is it going to happen? So my plan was like, I felt that my tougher subject was chemistry. So my advice is like, if you keep your tougher subject at the start, then you are a bit cool at the start, so you'll get the ideas easily. So if you keep it at the end, you might kind of panic and you won't get the easier ideas also. So first keep your easier subject. And one thing is like, whenever you encounter a question, don't spend more than 3 minutes in it. Like some questions are like, you spend 3 minutes, you get the idea, but still there is calculation which is left. But just leave some space over there and move forward. because when you are spending much time, most probably you'll end up doing a calculation mistake in the question. So complete the total paper and then come back.
And what about the surprise, section, different instruction all to comprehend in the and attempt the questions? For example, there were instances when integers were introduced, negative integers were introduced, decimals were introduced, right? And students said, after coming back from the examination, that they were not really expecting such a major change in the paper pattern, and then they lost many marks.
Yeah, that is there. Like, I feel now, like anything is possible, any innovation is possible, but kind of, I felt like it has reached its limit when they introduced the numerical value question. I can't imagine more going to a next level than that. That goes
Okay.
to subject you pattern. So, but still, there are newer patterns coming like STEM questions. So when you see that, just keep in your mind about the marking scheme also. Like if something is just giving you 2 marks, you can leave it till the end. Because in general, what I noticed in the IIT marking scheme is, whenever there is a tougher question, they willingly keep the question in the lower marking scheme section. And easier questions are kept where you get higher marks. So it is better to keep the marking scheme in the mind and then secure strategy for the exam.
In any course designed for JEE, right, in anywhere, in any institute, by and large, there will be 3 phases, right? The teaching and then the learning phase, first round, and then there will be revision phase. And the last phase is, writing as many exams as, necessary, and then keep upping your game. So which phase in these 3 are very important and why?
I feel like phase 1 is more about learning.
Okay.
Like you should get as much knowledge as possible from your teachers.
Right.
And phase 2 is the most important phase. That is where you should put your individuality first. Like you have gained all the knowledge from your teachers, from your friends, etc. Now, it is that you should make that knowledge in your way. You should have your own thinking ability. Like
Okay.
this is the way you have to think. You don't have to think the way you were taught.
Okay.
You have to change those concepts. Like it is kind of, you have to think that you discover the concept when you get like, it's not that you really discover that, but inside you it builds a confidence. Kind of like when you encounter a new question, you don't feel that it is a new question, you just feel that it is an old question only just asked in a new way.
Okay.
If you are having your concepts in your way. So in phase 2, that is the place where you have to concentrate more. And for phase 3, I'll suggest that it's not writing more exams. It's about writing as many exams as you want, but with the complete spirit. Like you should feel it is the final JEE Advanced exam. Like you should be kind of doing the error analysis also for those. Like writing one exam every year is sufficient. You need not write 2 exams every year. But the error analysis need to be done correctly.
Okay.
And always one thing which I'll like to suggest is, when you are going for the final exam, you just adapt the same exam strategy which you are practicing from the day one. Like many members, your parents, many members will suggest the kind of check a question again or write more neatly so the silly mistakes don't happen. But you kind of listen to everyone, take some points, but finally you just have to follow your strategy, because that is something which your mind has agreed to. If you just try to change the strategy at the last minute, without knowing, unknowingly itself, you tend to do more mistakes, and you get to know that when you come out of the exam hall.
Talking about specifically about the paper, Siddharth. So there comes a time when you read a question and you don't know whether you can actually solve it or you leave it. How do you decide that within a short span of time?
Actually, when you think about a question and you don't get the idea, I suggest you leave the question. And actually, in the JEE paper, some questions are tough and some questions are easy. As everybody said, if we look at the past papers, we'll get to know at what scope they are asking and with what kind of idea they are asking. but the actual toughness of paper and the flavor of the paper will not get until we see the whole paper together. In the books like the Arihant 42 years books, they will give like all the subject wise paper, and during that time you may be feeling that you are getting ideas, but during the exam time the time management and the how to decide whether I can do that question or not, it really takes a lot of experience. And I suggest to do a lot of number of questions, but not so many that there are no questions left for you to solve by the end of the program. uh, Keep on practicing, keep on try. Once during phase 1 of our preparation, our sirs asked us to prepare some new questions ourselves.
Yeah, that will really help and think how the concept will be tested.
If you really did not get idea on the first glance in the exam, I suggest you leave it. And most probably 99% of the time you will get the idea and you will stuck somewhere in the middle. You will know what it's based on, you will know what they are asking about, but you will get stuck in the middle. So you will never, the short span of time really depends on how concentrated you are on that question. If you're really concentrated on that time during that question, the you will be at the most optimum level of solving, and it will take the least amount of time for you to solve that question. And I suggest, rather than thinking about this as an method or something, I suggest the concentration part is more important, and that gives you the speed, how to speed of understanding the question and doing the question. That reduces the time. And I don't think there's a way to actually tell whether you will get the question or not until you have gone in the middle of the question. Just by seeing the question, I think it's very difficult to say whether you will get it or not. Sometimes you will feel like something is there, but as you have gone into the middle of it, you will just see like it's a Pythagoras theorem.
Correct. So there would be occasions, Mahesh, like we were speaking with Siddharth, whether to leave the question or not. But sometimes we make wrong decisions in the paper, and we end up, getting into a panic mode. These are the situations which must have happened to you also while your preparation was going, right? So when you are practicing a paper, and all of a sudden in the middle, a certain 2 questions, 3 questions, they disturb you, and you are in the panic. Has that ever happened? And how did you manage in that case?
Actually, when it's like in that kind we go to a panic situation, generally in the end of exam this kind of thing will happen. In that time, if more questions were left, we should concentrate we should select easy questions of those left questions, and we should try solving maximum number of questions correctly. That's all. Instead of trying to solve all of them. In that case, we can reduce our panic and reduce our mistakes.
Okay, last but not the least, all of you had started your journey in this IIT JEE preparation in the online mode because of COVID. So, what do you think? What difference did it make in the online? And when you shifted to offline mode, what differences you find, Ojas?
So the difference was like in online mode, like there are some pros and cons in both the sides. In online mode, like we were restricted to our rooms. I mean, like there was lockdown, we were not able to go outside also. So like the schedule was pretty packed. I mean, like we couldn't do much. We were quite, restricted. But when the offline classes started, the sessions became more interactive. It was more fun to study with the peer group also. Like the interaction with the peer group also increased. I mean, you could see the competition around you. I mean, like that's a completely different experience.
So in the entire journey of the preparation, so what role these study materials or the weekend examination papers or as such books, many students they want to do more materials or more books, more worksheets. So what was in your mind and how did you uh, go about it?
It's my belief that we should focus more on solving quality questions, and the quantity does not matter, because if you solve more quality questions, you are exposed to more like the good questions. You're exposed to a variety of questions. But when you solve like quantity questions, you go for the quantity. What happens is that you end up solving more questions of the same type. Like they're only calculation based then. So yeah, it's important to focus on solving good books.
Yeah, so
Yeah, it is
students should
one
not.
very important thing what he said, because students are always in the dilemma. Lots of material is there for GE.
Right.
I mean, lots of books are there, lots of magazines and even coaching institute material is there. So students are in the dilemma. Even now the YouTubers and online videos will add to that confusion. So the student has to be very focused and they have to follow the advice of their mentors, as he correctly said.
So, Mahesh, any special advice from your experience you want to actually give for cracking JEE Advanced?
Performing in the final exam is different actually. There would be more tense. So I think in the final exam we should be somewhat confident before the final exam. We should build our confidence so that we won't be panicked in the exam.
I would like to suggest that students should start doing meditation, because it is one thing which helped me a lot. Like between those paper 1 and paper 2, uh, that time we need to stable our mind. So meditation really helps a lot. And that panic situation which we talked about in the paper. So during when I used to have those panic situations, I stopped for 10 seconds and took 3 breaths, and then like it's fine. So meditation will help a lot.
My advice is that first you have to make our basics strong, and on the examination day, like you'll have fear, but before 1 week of the exam, don't take so much pressure on the exam. Like go and write it like your weekend exam. If you write the exam with more pressure, what will happen is it won't help you and simply reduces your marks. But if you write like your weekend exam, you won't have pressure and you will write well.
What I will suggest is during the mocks, you prepare your exam writing strategy, and even more than knowledge, it is important you to know how to attempt the paper, because some of the questions don't really require your knowledge. They can be solved by simple logics by observing the options. So, so even you develop that kind of strategies, it will save your time. And also, it is important to get do meditation even before the paper 1 and between the both papers. So don't think anything about paper 1, just again go to paper 2 like the fresh paper. So even don't worry that how much you're scoring, or did you attempt more questions in paper 1. So it will not matter actually. You go to paper 2 like new paper itself, so it will help you a lot.
Okay. So during the preparation time, were there any combinations of paper setting, like paper one is very tough and you are psychologically killed, and you were given a very easy paper two, and vice versa?
Yeah, even during our mock test we have faced so many different kinds of papers.
Right.
So even if the paper 1 is easy, don't get into a situation that paper 2 will also be easy,
Correct.
or don't get overconfident. So just think that both the papers are different, and don't think about paper 1 at all during your paper 2.
It's like, I mean, you should solve paper 2 as if like you haven't given the paper 1.
Okay.
It should be your mind should be completely fresh. I mean, like you should do whatever refreshes your mind, I must say, during the
Okay.
break in between. And you must remember that not all questions are meant to be solved in the paper. Sometimes IIT gives you questions which are meant to be left.
Okay.
They play
Oh,
tricks with their mind. It's
good
important to
pointer.
note that.
Okay. Okay.
So it's important not to get dejected if you're not able to solve a few questions in the paper.
Right.
Because if you're not able to solve, then probably many others are not able to solve. So
Right.
like if you think paper 1 is tough, then you think that like okay, the whole nation it was tough. If you go with that mindset, then yeah, I mean it's
Yeah.
quite relaxing for you.
Okay. Okay.
As my friend said about the meditation and things, it's just a kind of concentration, and it is a practice of concentration during the exam also. During the exam, there should be nothing in your mind, nothing on your mind except the given question, and there should be a flow between your hand and your brain. What you're thinking should be written on the and you should not be thinking about some songs or some movies or what you will do after the exam. Nothing. I think it doesn't really matter if you don't sleep or if you don't meditate or if you go and play games, but if while writing exam, if you are concentrated enough, that's the moment that matters, not before, not after. That moment, the moment you are writing the exam, is what matters.
Okay, yeah. Thank you all. Thank you very much for your inputs. Let's hope that all these inputs will help all of you to crack JEE Advanced, Olympiads, boards, any exam for that matter. Thank you. Thank you very much for your time. One round of applause for all the successful students. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much.